Hey, thanks for taking the time to click on today's video. If you're a normal human being, one of the questions that you have to be asking yourself every single year as time goes by is, are you properly investing for retirement? And I promise I'm going to get to that, but I'd like to share with you a bigger concern, one that seems to be just completely and totally overtaking retirees and pre-retirees by storm. And that is the fact that as human beings, we are surrounded by information. We're surrounded by information in social media. We're being surrounded by information on the nightly news and daytime news and radio and on the internet and on our phone, and even our coworkers and our friends are in the goodness of their heart trying to provide us information. But you know, the one thing that's important is that we stay informed without being influenced. When we think about social media, I don't know about you, but most of the time I hear them being called influencers. And what is their job? What is the end goal of all of these pundits, all of these people, these talking heads, all of these people with channels and accounts? The goal is to motivate. The goal is to influence. The goal is to get you, to get me to do something that would be in their best interest, or what they consider to be in our best interest. I'll give you an example. This is one that's very close to home today. I was speaking to a client of mine, and her husband is still working. He's 67. He's full retirement age in Social Security, and he was contemplating turning on Social Security, and the primary reason was because his best friend told them that if he turned on Social Security at full retirement age, why, he can make anything he wants for income, and it's not going to influence his Social Security. Well, the reality is that is a great deal of misinformation. You see, between 62 and full retirement age, it is true you've got a earnings test that you have to be very careful of. It's around $20,000. But then just because you hit full retirement age doesn't mean that you're completely out of the woods and you can make anything you want. In 2023, when this video is being shot, the limit for you to draw your Social Security and the amount of income that you can earn is limited to $56,520. What this means for this guy is that for every $3 above that dollar amount, that threshold of $56,000, he's going to be losing $1 of his Social Security. And thank goodness that we caught it before he turned it on, because he was unaware that the information that he got from his friend was false. But here's another thing. His friend went even as far as saying, listen, dude, you're over the age of 65. Did you realize that you got to get on Medicare right away, because you're going to pay a penalty because you're not on Medicare? Well, again, I don't know who this friend is, but this friend is really misinformed, because my client actually works for an employer and actually has health insurance that's actually credible coverage, which means that if he wanted to, he could work until he's 70, and when he retires at 70, he could go on to Medicare and he would have zero penalty that he would have to pay. You see, we have to be extremely careful about who we get our information from. And we want to consider the source. We want to really think about, are these people that are on TV, that are on the radio, that are on social media, are they saying what they're saying out of the kindness and the goodness of their heart? Do they really want the very best for me? Or do they have a shtick? Do they have something that they're trying to sell? As a fiduciary, one of my responsibilities is to cut through the fluff. My responsibility is to cut through all of the false information, all of the cliches, all of the things that over the course of 30, 40, 50 years we have gathered, and we've taken these things and we've made them in our minds to be absolutely factual. For instance, one of the biggest lies is that being in the stock market is somewhere that you always have to have your money. After all, it's a great inflation hedge. Well, you know what? Being in the market when you're in the growth phase of your life is great. But when you get to retirement, guess what your number one goal is? It's not growth, it's income. In fact, let me ask you and prove to you that that's the case. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you investing the money that you're doing in that 401k, that 403b? Is it so when you get to retirement, you can take it all out and buy a brand new home? Or is it so that you can supplement your retirement because you know that Social Security isn't going to be enough? You see, here's the thing. The most important equation, the most vital equation I could ever teach a person is the equation of total return. Total return equals income plus growth. And here's the thing. When we're young, we want to be invested for growth. But when we're in retirement, we want all of our money aligned so that it's producing income. Because here's the thing. If you focus on the G when you're really in the distribution stage of life and you disregard the I, everything becomes an if. It's an if. You don't know if it's going to be there. You don't know if it's going to be worth so much today and much less tomorrow. You don't know. And so how do you invest for retirement? You take a solid approach to the G. But within 5 years of retirement, you begin to reassess how much of your money is in the G so that you can begin to transition into things that are going to be able to naturally produce the I, the income. Income through interest, income through dividends. Imagine having $1 million in retirement and imagine that $1 million producing $60,000 of income, interest and dividend income every single year that you could live on, never touching the original $1 million principal. How cool would that be? So my advice to you is very simple. I want you to stay informed, but I caution you against being influenced. Because if you're not staying focused on what your end goal is, and today you're being persuaded by this person suggesting gold, that person suggesting cryptocurrency, that person suggesting put it all in a mason jar and bury it in the backyard, you're likely to have a very, very difficult retirement at best. Stay focused on your priority. And what is it? It's the I. It's the income. Thanks so much for watching. If you've liked this little video, I encourage you to give us a thumbs up. Share this with your friends so that they can consider their sources of information. And if you like our little videos, I encourage you, hit that little subscribe button and we will remind you each and every time we have a weekly video. So thanks so much for watching. I'm Matthew Johnson. And remember, it's up to you to make today a great day.